Miss Chasity Greene. I'm so excited. Okay, let me first of all, let me get comfortable. Because, you know, like I said, I'm usually doing this on Instagram Live, and y'all don't have to get to see all of my everything. You only get to see. Sometimes I be doing this, y'all. I just put on a shirt. Y'all don't even be knowing. But we cousins, we family, so I can do that, right? But today I actually had to put some clothes on so that you didn't have to see all of my, you ain't got to see all of that. Today you get to see everything. And look, y'all, with Chasity and I sat down and chatted it up, and I don't know if y'all can see this in your screens, but it is Stan's Allure drink. If you have not tried Allure, what is wrong with y'all?
Right.
You better try some. Chasity, what you say about Allure?
It gets you Allure.
Okay, you get Allure.
Shake and pour. Allure, shake and pour, right?
Shake and pour and get Allure.
Get Allure.
If you would love to try some Allure and support Stan's Cognac, please let me know. Let him know. He's on Instagram, Allure_Cognac. He will pull up on you if you're in the DMV area. If you're not in the DMV area, you just have to be on the waiting list because we got to figure out how to get it to you. But if you're in the DMV area, please support and get Allured, okay?
Oh, we got to toast to that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Chasity, what I like to do on Trauma2Triumph is I informally introduced you, as you saw just now. I want to turn it over to you so that you can more formally introduce yourself and at a high level talk about where you are in life today. You know, I'm Chasity Greene. I am thebomb.com, blah, blah, blah. This is what I'm doing in my life today. And then I want you to take us on a trip down memory lane. And I want you to go back to that point in life where real life trauma almost took you out. But it didn't, because we see you right here. We see how amazing you look. We see how vibrant you are. I happen to know a few personal things, accomplishments that you have achieved since in the short time that I've known you. So that in and of itself is triumphant. I tell people all the time, do not minimize what I mean when I say living triumphantly, because sometimes, depending on what a person has been through, the fact that we are still alive, the fact that we are able to still have the mental capacity to get up out the bed, go to work, take care of ourselves is triumphant, okay? Because a lot of us have been through shit that will take you completely out. And the fact that we're not shows that you are living in your triumph. So tell them who you are and a little bit about where you are in life today. And then let's take a trip down memory lane.
Okay. All right. Well, first, I got to start by saying I appreciate you. I'm going to say this to you. I appreciate you because you are my sister. And since I have known you, you have been nothing but supportive. Oftentimes, we as women of color get a negative stigma that we are not collaborators, we're not girls. But literally, since I came and I was in your presence, I saw not only the love you poured out to people, but the love you got back because of who you are. So I appreciate you for being you, not because of this platform, but literally just for you being you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. This is normally where we hug.
I know, right?
But in terms of kind of who I am, as Terry mentioned, my name is Chasity Greene, and I am, I guess my pageant title, I'll go first. I am Miss Full Figured USA.
Y'all heard that? Miss Full Figure USA, not Maryland, not PG County, USA.
Yeah, but I'm very proud of the fact that I was the former reigning Miss Full Figure DMV.
Yes.
So I was the national crown home back to our area,
Yes.
Yes. So I don't skip past that, because I am from this area. I like to call myself a native Fort Washingtonian.
Oh, I love it. Okay, a native Fort Washingtonian.
A native Fort Washingtonian. I grew up right here in PG County. I went to Oxon Hill, whoop whoop, Clipper Ship. I was a cheerleader, so I got to represent.
Okay.
I am also the host of the new talk show, Chasity Unlocked,
which I love.
Oh, thank you. And it is a platform for people to really unlock their passions, their purpose, and their potential, and share their stories similar to this platform, so that they can be a testimony to other people, so they can see people in the life that they are today, and know that there is space for you to continue to move forward. So.
I love it, Chasity Unlocked. I love it. Okay, so that's about where you are in life today.
Yes.
But getting to where you are today didn't come easy.
No.
Let's talk about it. Take us on a trip down memory lane.
So I shared with you very briefly that this is very new for me. You know, I am so used to, especially with my background in journalism and public relations and just the person that I am so used to celebrating other people and allowing them to share their stories and help to amplify their voice that oftentimes I want to be the person that uplifts people, right? And you can't necessarily do that if your energy is down. Like, I'm all about the vibe. So even if I am not having the best day, I am a master compartmentalizer, right?
Listen, you can't. I will share. Y'all know I tell y'all all my business. I probably overshare. But I told her that today I was really in a sunken place when she walked in here. That's why I'm late I wasn't on here at 9 o'clock because I had to get myself together. But one thing she does really, really well is exactly what she just told y'all. And the moment that I let her know that I was in a sunken place, she was like, well, wait, what we need to do? All right, what you need my help with? What do you need me to do? Come on, we go. That's what she exudes all the time. And I just needed to say that.
Thank you.
That's why I'm spruced up and with y'all tonight. Because she came and got me together, okay?
Because I know sometimes we need that. You know what I'm saying? Oftentimes you need not just your good girlfriend to pull that out of you, but you just need somebody to be like, this is one moment. My uncle told me before he passed away, and I was kind of going through, just some things. He was like, Boop, you're going to get through this because this is one moment of your life, not the rest of your life. And that really resonated with me because I was like, you know what? You're right. I have been through things before. I know that I can swim. I'm not going to sink. And there's always a solution to whatever problem that's boggling my mind. And I am a person that I'll have to sometimes just step away and think. When I am out and moving around and I'm a cheerleader for other people, that's me exuding. I'm pouring, right? But then I need to take that moment to think and just be able to refill my cup. And usually that's silence for me, of where I just have to lock myself away. And with this binge watching horrible reality TV,
whatever that is,
I can tell you what's going on with the baddies, child. But you just need those moments. And then sometimes I look at reality TV and it's like, why do you watch that trash? It's not a representation of, especially us as Black women, not on an everyday, but it's like, sometimes you just need that moment to be like, man, but I ain't there. Okay, I ain't there. I'm still moving forward in the right direction. So that is kind of how I typically operate, not myself. But I know that this platform, I know that there's power in transparency. And that's what I tell people all the time when I talk to them. And I know that it's somebody. I believe that divine timing and divine alignment is always in play. Yeah. So the fact that you invited me on this show, even though I am nervous, even though I'm talking, y'all, I talk. But it's
all the pageants and stuff you've been in, talking about some you nervous.
Well, pageants are different. You're smiling, you're waving, you are talking about a subject that you are passionate about, right?
It's different.
It's very different. And these are the only 2 pageants I've ever done in life. I did the DMV pageant and I did the USA pageant. I'm just favored by the grace of God.
Yes, you are.
I won these 2, but that's what lets me know that there's purpose for maybe what I have to share.
Absolutely.
So, I'm gonna get a Lord a little bit.
Absolutely.
We gonna talk. I'm giving my sis, no shade to y'all.
Okay.
I just gotta, be comfortable and dig in. So I guess my most traumatic moment for me came when we lost my daughter's father. And it was traumatic because I had never lost someone so close to me. I was raised by my grandparents and my father and, my family on my father's side. And, I lived a pretty sheltered life. I was pretty spoiled. I was the first grandkid in the home. I was my daughter's first child. I was everybody's first, right?
So let's back up a minute. You said you were raised by your grandparents. Where were your parents and your father?
My mom, and she is comfortable with me sharing this part of her story, and she shares it herself. She was a teenage mom. She got pregnant when she was a teenager with my older sister, and then she had me.
Okay.
And then they worked it out to where as I would go and live with my father and be raised by that side
Your
of the
paternal
family.
side.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
How was that on you though, as a little girl? Did you feel a way about it? Like, did you feel like, well, Mom, like what?
So yes, I definitely did.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because it's not normal to me for, and I won't say it was normal and not, because people have different dynamics.
That's right.
But it's not as common for, you know, you typically would see a child being raised by the maternal side, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when there's an absence of a mother, and I don't want to say that I didn't have a mother figure, because I call my grandmother to this day Mom, you know.
Yeah.
So it's so funny they tell a story like, you went to school when you was in kindergarten and was like, my mom is 50 something and my dad is 30, you know. So they're looking at us.
So your grandma was your mom.
My grandmother was my mother,
Mm-hmm.
and my aunts that lived in the house, they were extensions of my mom. They were my mom, and so I used to be like, I got 5 moms. This is not fair. I got to listen to everybody.
Right.
But that's how we do as Black families, right? We step in, we feel like that, we feel the need. So I never looked at her a certain kind of way or anything like that. They always taught me to love her, and the reality is that, you know, I lived a different type of life than what some of my siblings lived, you know what I'm saying,
Mm-hmm.
having to kind of go through other life struggles kind of growing up. So I was blessed in that regard, but there was still a sense of just kind of like, well, why didn't my mom kind of want to raise me? And
Right.
it took for me to become a mom and for me to develop my relationship with her to understand that she's not that she did not want to raise me, but this is just all in God's order in terms of getting me to become the Chasity that I am
That
today.
you are today.
Yeah.
Right. And so today, I mean, we're going to go back, you know, back and forth, but today you and your mom are like,
yes.
Okay.
Yes, we're very close. She, you know, she was at the, you saw her at the show and everything, and it just allowed me, like, my mom is a real woman. You know, she's been through her own trials, and she is triumphant, you know, in her own regard. So she is a very transparent woman. And
I may have to have Mom on
Trauma. You definitely do. You want to hear a story, honey?
Okay.
That's gonna make mine look like child's play. Because she knows that she's in this place where she can kind of share that. So she doesn't shy away from the things and the decisions that she's made as a woman, and I can respect that.
Me too. Okay, so you became a teen mom at how old?
Well, I was 20.
You was 20.
Yes.
Okay, so you weren't
right, not necessarily. No, and you know,
Okay.
that's, you know, people's journey. I understand. I was going into my second year of college.
Okay.
And that's when I became pregnant with my daughter, Cadence. And everyone was saying, like, Chaz, you know, we see such a bright future for you. This is, you know, you don't want to kind of go that route. This is not, you should make a different decision. But because of how I felt growing up without my mom, I couldn't imagine doing that to another human. You know, even though I had all these power women in my life and pouring into me, I was like, I just want my baby, you know.
Yeah.
And in that time, I was like, I'll be honest with you, it was a sense of I will never be lonely again, because I know I have this other human that will be with me.
I can resonate with that, Chasity, because every time I struggled in my earlier life with, you know, wanting to always be in love and all of this old stuff, right? So I married my high school sweetheart. We had 2 beautiful daughters. But after that, I felt the need to want another baby. Like, I kept wanting more. I only have 3. God knew what he wanted from me. But I kept wanting more because I always felt like the more kids I have, the longer my stretch of people who love me will last.
Right.
Because I'm like, they going to love me forever.
Right.
And so, but then once they get teenagers and stuff, the love is still there. But you're like, well, wait a minute, let me have another baby, because the babies really be loving you and stuff, right? So I understand that. I just wanted to say that I get that, and I didn't want you to think that it sounds crazy.
Okay, I appreciate that, because looking back, you know, you could feel like that would be crazy.
You know that that's somebody that's going to love you.
Yes.
You got somebody to love you.
Yes. And now I still, to this day, know that that's the best decision. Cadence is my greatest accomplishment. Now, you let her explain the child. I ain't had nothing to do with it. That's her and Jesus at the way her amazing woman that she is, because she is 18 at this point. So I'm like, you don't think mommy had any input in that? She's like, no. And I'm like, go on, sis. You know, do your thing. Sure. We know.
So you had her at 20. What was life like for you then? So you're in a relationship?
Yes, I was in a relationship with her father, and I had known him since we were in the 8th grade.
Wow.
So we had known each other, you know, from around the same kind of neighborhood, and you know, I felt like okay, I had my family for good, for bad, whatever, you know, and it's us against the world. You know, I wanted to have like a big Brady Bunch family because that's the type of house that I grew up in. You know, it was just so many people. And I was like, cool, you know, but not today. But you know what I'm saying? Like, we just going, it's going to be us against the world. I'm going to be able to set my own rules, whether we're going to be the Huxtables or Roseanne and them. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Or like Whitney and Bobby.
Oh, wait a minute now.
You said, wait a minute now. I said that because my daughters always used to call me and Stan Whitney, and he go Whitney and Bobby. I'm like, yo, what?
But I say Roseanne and their family because regardless of how they were and how they appeared, or they weren't a family of like huge means like the Huxtables, right? But they were still a family.
They were still a family.
They
I love that
stuff,
they did.
But they were still a family, and
yes,
they got through that. So that's why
that's
I
how you
felt
like
two different, you know, dynamics of families, but still a family. So had her, we were family, we were rocking, and we're young, you know, so we figuring life out, we figuring relationships out, you know, all those kind of things. And so that's why it was very traumatic when we did lose them, because she was 10 and our relationship at the time was starting to become very tumultuous. And you know, sometimes when God has a plan for you, you can't sit in comfortability. This is my wisdom looking back at it, right? You can't sit in comfortability because then you won't grow, because there's no growth that can come from comfortability. You won't do it, right? So it was very tumultuous, and I felt something in me that was like, I will love you. I'm a Pisces. I love. Like, I will stick it out till the end. You know, I'm a very loyal person. I love. But you know what I love more than me and love more than the feeling of love? I love my daughter. So I have to be cognizant of the example that I am setting for her, and what a positive relationship and what love truly looks like. And the older she is getting, you know, we're in there kind of arguing and fighting, and I'm, in my mind, my younger mind, I'm teaching her, you know, if a man talks to you this way, you buck back at him, because you don't just cower in the corner because you're a strong woman. But really, in reality, what the answer is you remove yourself. You don't become a different character to power up and do those things, right?
That's
you
right. That's important.
Yourself.
That is so important.
And that because of the self-worth that you have. But I did not know that as a younger woman, you know, at the time.
So your daughter was 10.
Right around 10, of where we just kind of say, you know, let's just take a break to get ourselves together.
Okay.
While we were on that portion of taking a break, getting ourselves together, he actually passed away from an overdose.
Really?
Yes.
Did you know he was using?
No. I mean, you know,
I mean, in fun, right?
Exactly.
But you didn't know that he,
you know what I'm saying, stuff like that, and that's, you know, that's. But I didn't know that it was to the extent of, you know, and I don't think that it was a long history of it. I think that it was just something that he tried.
He stepped outside of his lane.
And he was not with the right people to call for help when he was in distress, and unfortunately, he passed away.
That sounds like a land bias all over again type of thing, right?
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Not a drug abuser.
Right.
But someone who was like, all right, you know, and you're not in your lane. That ain't your lane.
You're not in your lane, and you're not with the right people that care enough to come out of their own selfishness of maybe getting in trouble and being asked too many questions to kind of call.
So something happened with him where it happened like all in that, like he used and like
and then he went into a cardiac arrest and they didn't call for help. And it was exactly. And it was so surreal when I heard it, because then you're faced with anger to the individuals that you know, anger to, you know, people that were there, anger towards him, because it's like, how could you put yourself in a situation, if not for me, you know, before our baby, you know, who was the apple of his eye in every regard. So that was, you know, very hard for me to get past. And I am a person that feels like I'm a fixer. I'm a problem solver. So, but this was one problem that I could not solve. You know, and I was angry. I'll be honest with you. I was angry. I was so angry. I was angry at God. I was angry at myself. I was just angry because this was one thing that I could not talk myself out of. I had nobody that I could negotiate with. I couldn't say, well, no, God, please don't take him. How about this other person that, is not a good person and, doesn't have the same calling on their life because he was he was an awesome person. Had his own demons, that he was battling. And I just couldn't negotiate my way. I couldn't talk my way out of it. There was no one to talk to. It was just done.
Mm-hmm.
And
how do you communicate that to your daughters? What was she, about 10?
She was 10. And so I told her that he initially, because that's a lot for a 10-year-old to comprehend,
yes.
right? And I'm not about lying, but it's all in how we shape the narrative, right? And so I told her that he got sick, and which is true, and he passed away. And I waited until she was much older to kind of start to really kind of share some more information, because I didn't want her to get it from people that knew him and kind of social media and stuff like that. And then she was starting to become a young woman herself, and I needed her to understand, like, listen, this happened to, I don't need you to be with friends and you think they got your back, and can't nobody call for help if everybody hot, so hot up, you know what I'm saying, that
right.
They can't think straight. And so I needed her to understand that life lesson of like,
Wow, Chasity.
Life is real.
Okay, so he passes away. You're mad. You're angry. What is your life looking like after that?
I sunk. How you just explained being in a sunken place.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like it was an out of body experience. I felt like because I am naturally, the person that I am today is kind of more aligning with the person that I grew up being, just a happy person, a person that was a cheerleader for other people. But in that time, I did not feel like me. I didn't feel like Chasity. I didn't feel like any resemblance of myself, I literally just wanted to like cower away. I just did not want nobody to look at me, because I felt like they could see my sadness. And that was painful to me, because I want to pour into people. But I couldn't fake the sadness and the grief that I was feeling. I felt like I was wearing it.
How do you still be a mom while you're going through that?
Exactly. And she favors him, you know what I'm saying? But the thing that and of course, my family did just what every strong Black family do. They swept in and they helped. And in that portion, I couldn't receive help from me fully all the way, but I did accept the help for her. So my mom would, help me with taking her to school, and it got to a point of where she was staying there for, the weekdays, because I wasn't having her to school on time, things like that. And I was just looking to do anything that kept me from thinking about what I had just lost. Not what I just had, not what I currently have, but what I just lost. And my family really had to rally around me, but her, and just make sure that she was still getting the quality of life that she needed, and that she deserved. And it took for me to just kind of, I'm inching along, but I knew the thing that kept me fighting, because I was ready to give up. It was, I had never experienced something like that. And the thing that kept me pushing was the fact that she had just lost her dad, and I knew she did not deserve to lose her mom too in the process. So wow. You take a step forward, you fall back. You take a step forward, you fall back. But I kept pushing, because I'm like, God didn't, and I had to tell her, when it was time for her to kind of come back home, and us to kind of, I'm like, listen, it's time for you to come back home. I'm not necessarily fully in it. It's not like she lived there and I didn't see her, but it was just the day-to-day routine stuff. It was just enough for me to try to push forward, right? Just to keep it going. And I told her, I said, listen, Grandma is a hell of a woman. I love her. She raised me. She raised so many people in this neighborhood, so many people in this family. But if God wanted her to have you, she would have birthed you.
Right. You mine.
So it's time to come on home.
Right.
And she rebelled against it a little bit. Not like she, was a crazy kid or nothing,
right.
But she was just, what if I'm a church family? And what if I'm like, girl, those ain't even your words. So it was an adjustment for my mom and for her, to be like, listen, I get it. I understand the bond that y'all had. But this is my baby.
Right.
And the stuff that I got to instill in her before she is set out into this world on her own. So
I commend you for that. Man, I commend you for that, because I know it had to have been hard. Like through that grieving process, what are some of the things that you can share that you went through to cope? Like, what were you doing to cope?
I was just doing anything that I could. Now, well, not anything, but I was doing the things that in my lane that I was comfortable with, to help me be able to sleep. I am an overthinker by nature. When I lay down, my brain is still going.
Shut off.
It will not shut off. So, I was coping. I was smoking. I was drinking. And, I was eating, and I've always been a heavier person, bigger than my peers. Mm-hmm. But that didn't necessarily keep me from being active. Like I mentioned, I was a cheerleader.
So you was thick and curvy.
Right, exactly. Mm-hmm. But back then it still wasn't as in as it is,
right.
But today. And I got to the point of where I just stopped weighing myself, because last time I weighed myself, I was pushing 400 pounds. And so...
Wait. Looking at you now today, Chasity, I don't want to call you a liar.
I can show you pictures, child, right?
Really?
Yeah.
I can't even imagine. I mean, and there's no shade to anyone who even weighs 400 pounds.
Absolutely not.
None.
Absolutely
But I'm
not.
just saying, when I met you, full figure, yes, but you were 400 pounds?
Over, because I stopped weighing myself because I just did not care. It was just like, okay, it is what it is,
Are you telling the truth?
Yeah. And
so during that time period, you got to 400 pounds?
Yes. And I was bigger still while he was here, but it just got way worse, And when I looked back at it, I had pictures of them two together, but I wanted to be behind the camera because I wasn't comfortable with my weight at the time, even when he was here. And then it just got out of control because,
You just let yourself go.
I just let myself go because that wasn't what was important at the time for me.
So you're looking at yourself, 400 pounds, and how was your self-esteem at that point?
It was low. It was low. But I was still functioning. I still kept my job. I was still able to kind of still function, still keep my place, things like that. But it was very low. I just did not feel like Chasity. I didn't feel like me. Mm-hmm. I've always cared more about what was on the inside, so that's what I kind of leaned on, mm-hmm. Your education, who you are as a person, your
right.
your heart. Those are the things that matter. But I just didn't see myself being able to be anything other than, where I was.
Did you get ridiculed by anyone about your weight? Like, did you ever have to go through that, or did people pretty much, love you for who you are? People pretty much
my entire life have loved me for who I am.
So at least in the life that you have inside of you.
Thank you. Thank
400
you.
pounds or 40 pounds, you have something different inside of you.
I appreciate that. And so people have always received kind of,
mm-hmm.
me. But I didn't feel comfortable.
You didn't? Okay.
I suffer from people don't know, social anxiety. I would go to a place, I would get all the way there, and I would sit in the car and then talk myself out of going. And then just go back home it was nothing. I really didn't want to go
And would
there.
you do that because of your weight?
It was because of my weight. It was because of my grief, my sadness. I still felt like I was wearing it. Okay. And I did not want to be the vibe killer, people
right.
to say what's wrong,
right.
like that.
Right.
And now,
that's
I'm like,
me. I'd rather not be there.
Yeah, I'm not showing. I want to kill a vibe in the room.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really what it was. And then it took for me to be in a not so great, time period in a relationship that I was in. And I said, I went to the doctor. And I was just kind of starting to find my footing. I got a better job, so I was making a lot more money. And I decided to have the bariatric surgery.
Wow. What brought you to that decision? Was it discussions with other people who had done it? Or was it just you looking in the mirror saying, fuck this, I'm doing this?
It was more so...
Or were there health scares?
That's what it was. It was more so I had never had any major health issues, thank goodness, thank God. But it was more so I didn't want to develop. I was pre-everything. I was pre-diabetes, pre-high blood pressure, pre-all
right.
these things. And I'm like, man, you can't, again, for my daughter, you're killing yourself. Mm-hmm. You can't she already lost one parent, you know.
Right.
You know, my family is strong, they're gonna step in, but can't nobody be her mama like I can be her mama.
I love that.
So I said, if this is what's gonna do, so what? And then I battle with that decision mentally, because I'm like, what if I get on the operating table and then I go and now it seems like it's for a shallow reason? It was not to have a better physical appearance. I just needed to have more energy and be able to just feel like I wasn't killing myself, you know. And it took a doctor to say that to me, like, you're killing your life. You are the age of like a 50-something-year-old woman, and you are in your early 30s. That's the age of your body. So what are you going to do about this part? And I tried to diet, I tried to exercise, but sometimes you need that push, so you can visualize where, you know what I'm saying? Like when you go to the gym and you working at it, man, you lose that 10, 15 pounds. You're like, oh, okay, I can do this. I'm seeing the results. And, and it gave me that push, you know.
Wow.
And that's what really helped me move forward. And people don't understand, like, it's not necessarily a cheat code, because you don't get a brain transplant when you have a surgery like that. Like, it literally has to be a lifestyle change.
It's not a cheat code. You know, there are people who, like you said, at some point, you need assistance.
Yes.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
If that's what it's for.
Right.
If and so that you can get the jump start that you need to get on the right track. You've made a decision to be intentional, but you need assistance. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
I've known people who have struggled and battled with diets and trying to lose weight for years. And so it's not like they're not trying.
Right.
But if there's something that can help give them a boost.
Right. And that's why I'm so transparent about that part of my process, about my journey, because I don't want people, you know, I could say, you know, I went to the gym, I worked out, I ate better, you know, all those things, but that's not real. That's not my true story. If somebody is literally considering that surgery to have just a push in order to make their life better, to come out of those medical issues and things like that, you know, work with your doctor, consult with yourself, your guy, your family.
Because it can be safe. Look at her.
Yeah.
Look at you.
Yes.
You're the second person who's been on this platform who's gone through that. And the first young lady, I love her to death, Rochelle. She's got triplets now, but she went through so much as a young woman, being bullied because of her weight, and, you know, then she became promiscuous because she felt like, you know, I can get men if I do this, you know, and just took us on a journey, very different than your journey, but the end result was she finally reached a point where she wanted to have better health, and she wanted to just feel better about herself, and she decided to have that surgery. And when I tell you it was life-changing for her.
It is. It's life-changing. I would think for anyone that's committed to the lifestyle change.
It's a lifestyle change.
That's why I say it's not a brain transplant. I remember immediately after I had the surgery, you know, your stomach is about this small. And Cadence is down there cooking the best meals of her life, child. She's down there throwing down in the kitchen. And I called my aunt and I was like, hey, y'all have to come get this girl and bring her some food, because she's cooking and my mind still wants this food. And I can't eat it. You would throw up, you would do all this stuff. And I'm like, I can't have it, but I didn't have a brain transplant. I need y'all to bring her some meals so she can warm up in the microwave, and that's the quick.
She's not doing all of
it. She's not doing all of this.
Right.
And she
that must be torture.
Yes, it was torture. She was making the best meals. I was like, what are you cooking now down there?
Wow,
you know?
wow.
So it's the commitment to the lifestyle change. And then it's a journey, it's not a trip. So I had to make sure that I set little milestones and milestones so I can continue to stay on track. That's why I really accepted to join the pageant, because I had just had my surgery, and Cadence encouraged me. I told you my story before, how I kind of got introduced to it, and she said I should do it. And then in my mind I said, well, this will keep me on track to going in the right direction, because I know in a couple months I'm gonna have to get on that stage, and I want it to be the representation, like an unveiling of kind of where I am today. So that's what I encourage people to do. Like, regardless of whether you had the surgery now or any goal that you are trying to accomplish, set some realistic goals, but set some like out of reach goals, right? But the goals that you put yourself in, like, you got to be the right environment. I didn't go and join a typical pageant system, like, you know, ones that's focused on size 2s and size 4s, because that would have put my self-esteem back, right? I chose to join a full-figure pageant system that was about inclusivity and confidence in the skin you're in, and that allowed me to say, okay, I'm going to get the cake, the nuggets and stuff while I'm learning this process, but I know I'm pushing towards being on this goal, because I got to get on stage in a swimsuit, honey.
Yes.
So we're going to keep trying to go in the right direction. And that was just my little kind of, you know, okay, we're going to stay on track. We're going to do this. So
I had never heard her story in the way that I've heard it today. And I am just so freaking proud of you.
Thank you.
I am so proud.
Thank you.
Of you choosing you. Because that's really what you did.
Right.
You chose you for your daughter, for yourself, but you still chose you.
Because I knew that a gift that I could give her, the best gift I could give her as a mom, was being my full self, you know?
Yes.
Even with journalism, I've been doing journalism since I was in the 1st grade. I used to do the morning announcements on TV at my elementary school.
It's in your blood. We didn't tell them about it, but at some point we will. I mean, you can let them know how you have it in your blood, Chasity. How's journalism in your blood?
Journalism, I did not know at the time, because I was raised by my paternal
side.
Yes.
Right, tell me about it. I mean,
but my grandfather is Greene, you know, and he was a journalist, an activist, you know, just an amazing community member in the DMV area, and he went nationwide by just being a voice to the voiceless. He was a voice of the people. Right. He said stuff that people would say at their in their living room amongst each other, right?
Yeah.
But then he said it on TV, and it was like, oh, child, he said that out loud.
So she's got it in her blood.
And I did not know it at the time. I was just like, I just want to tell people stuff. I want to go find something out there, come back and tell it to people. You know, like, I've just always been that type of storyteller, that type of person. But when I got to college and I'm studying journalism, I'm like, I don't see nobody on TV that look like me. I don't see anybody that is this size, that, you know, is this color, you know, this complexion, that looks like me, that's on prime time. So I pivoted away from it because I didn't think that it was possible for me.
Wow.
So that's why me having this talk show and me being amongst other media professionals like you, like Stan, like, you know what I'm saying, like, just the love that y'all pour out, it's like, this really does feel like, I'm not there yet because we all on our journey, but it feels like a sense of destiny, fulfilled, like coming full circle of me being able to accomplish what I thought was impossible for so long.
I love that. I am so inspired all over again by your story and your journey. And yeah, you know, you have it in your blood. You exude it. You're really, it's really your lane. It really and truly is.
Thank you.
You articulate things so well. All of that. So God knew.
Thank you. But it took for me to believe it and to feel it, right? And then I had to realize that it's never going to be perfect because I'm a perfectionist. But like what we're doing right here on this platform, you have to share your progress. I celebrate people's progress all the time. I'm like, you know, amongst my staff, my team members, just anybody I meet, I'm like, you know, they're like, man, I did it, but I fell short. I'm like, no, it's okay. Pick yourself up. You gotta keep going. And Cadence, on the other hand, I'm like, what do you mean you gotta be? 89% seems like you just fell short of an A's. That's what it seems like. But
okay, perfectionist mom.
Because I know her potential, and sometimes you know, I gotta be both parents. I gotta push her because I know her potential.
Right.
But I am a celebrator of progress, and I have to give myself that same grace.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. So before we wrap things up, what I'd like for you to do is give advice. I want you to talk to those who feel like their weight has been a struggle and they're debating about this surgery. Because so many people probably do think about it, but they're afraid.
Right.
They're afraid of, you know, what if I don't wake up from this table? What if after the surgery I gain the weight all back again? Like, give people some things that might help them look at it more positively.
So I'll start by sharing this. One of my favorite quotes is by Marianne Williamson, And it starts off, I'm not going to do the whole quote because I don't know the whole quote, but
you know what you know.
But I know what I know. And it starts off by saying our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. It is that we are powerful beyond measure. And to summarize it, it goes on to say, by allowing our internal light to shine, we unconsciously give others the right to use their light and to shine as well. Who are we to be, we often think like, who are we to be fabulous? Who are we to be, amazing? Who are we to live out loud and live boldly? But the question is, who are you not to be? Because that is who you were ordained to be by God, and there's only one you. So you have to live this life and be the full version of yourself. So if you are feeling like you have something that you have not accomplished yet, and you still have that little burning fire inside of you to contribute something to this world, you owe it to yourself and to this world and to our community to push past your fear and do it. Yes. Because fear is only saying that it is possible, right? You still have to, you just push past it, and your greatness is on the other side of fear. And I have to remind myself that even with launching this new talk show, right? Even with, because I dream big. I don't know where these visions and dreams come from.
They come from God.
They come from God, exactly. And, and I'm like, man, how am I going to do that? But it's not for you to determine how you're going to do it. It's just for you to take the step forward and allow God to order your steps and bring the people into your life so that it is aligned for you to complete that purpose that He has for you. Everyone is born here with the destiny, with the calling, with the purpose, but you have to fight to fulfill it. So put your gloves on and fight for you.
I needed that. God knew I needed that today. Put my gloves on, Terry, and fight. Put your gloves on, y'all, and fight for you.
For you.
Fight for you, right?
Yeah, you're worth fighting for. We allow other people to come in and fight for us, and we equate that to our self-worth. But we got to fight for ourselves, too. Same way we fight for other people.
We do. I needed that. I received that. I needed that. Lord God knew I needed to hear that. Yes. I am so very grateful for you, Chasity, for your journey, for your transparency. Before we wrap things up, I want you to have any closing remarks. I want you to tell people how they can support your new podcast or whatever it is that you're doing out there. I want people to know.
Okay, well, people can support me by following me on Instagram at The Real Chasity Greene. That's CHASITYGREENE. Greene, like my grandfather, Petey Greene, my legacy.
Yes.
And I don't have everything kind of worked out on the back end in terms of, a website and everything for my show. My website is ChastityGreene.com. If you want to support any part of my journey, because I do feel called to amplify community members, not just people who are already at celebrity status that you already know about. I want to celebrate literally the everyday community hero that's doing dope stuff in our community that just does not have the light or the platform to put it out there.
Yes.
Because I was that person. I am that person,
Yes.
right? And it takes for us walking into spaces fearlessly and aligning with people. And I know not everybody has that comfortability, the way I may, right? So I'm a person that always look to bring that person with me. So if you want to support me and in turn support the community, you can follow me on Instagram. And then just stay tuned for everything that's coming. You can tune in. I have my YouTube already set up for Chasity Unlocked. It ain't no videos on there yet, but we have shot.
We can start subscribing.
Yes, please start subscribing. I'm looking to, monetize the platform so I can continue to do more things in the community. Where my grandfather was known as the voice of the people, I am working hard to become the resource to the people.
Yes.
I teach financial literacy, and that starts with us, and oftentimes, and I recently started taking etiquette classes so I can just teach people how to be in the spaces that they are in and not feel uncomfortable and just feel comfortable and fearless when they're in those spaces, because that's something we didn't. I didn't go to finishing school, I just kind of learned how to act in certain social situations, but not everybody has that. So I want to help. I didn't put on this earth.
She wants to help get you together, okay? Y'all need some etiquette in your lives, okay? Y'all need to have some etiquette, okay? All right. I love you. I thank you. I am grateful for you and for you. You're paving the way for others and doing the amazing things that you've been doing, Chasity. I feel, there was one other thing, because I remember when I posted that you were going to be on here, someone asked to get information. If someone wants to participate as a full-figured contestant,
yes,
what can they do?
So I'm so happy. Thank you for asking that question. And for whomever asked it out there, I would love to share that information because, as I mentioned, Miss Full Figure USA, the pageant system overall, is all about inclusivity and celebrating women at their current stage of life, wherever they are in their journey. So to answer your question, I came up through the DMV division. We have since dissolved that division. It was under the direction of Lorraine Coleman-Ross. I think you met her at my talk show.
I did.
She's my forever director because she helped me get from the DMV to nationals, and we brought home that crown, y'all.
Yes.
But they recently launched the National Capital Region, and that is for anyone who resides in the state of D.C. and Maryland. It's under one division. It's actually led by Queen Gabby Parker Simone, and she is amazing as well. She has such an influence on my pageant journey too. She got me together as well. She's just, the thing I love about this pageant system is that it's us and it's a sisterhood. You don't just pay your money and then, now they see you on pageant day. Oh no, you got to do workshops. You got to, and it's like, it's so much you have to do, community service, things that really round you out into being a well-rounded woman. Okay. So if you want to go to, if you go to my Instagram, I would definitely share that information with you, or you could just Google National Capital Region, Miss Full Figure USA. It is a new division, so I do not have their website. I'm going to kill myself after this because I should have already known it.
They can go look it up like you just said.
Yes, or you can come to my Instagram and I'll be more than happy to share that information with you. Heck, I'll walk you through the door, okay? Because I just need more women to understand that this is something that we deserve in our community.
And she does respond to her DM, so give out your Instagram one more time, please.
It's at therealchastitygreen.com. Look, I'm about to say .com.
At The Real Chastity Greene, and Greene has a E on the end, okay?
Yes.
And she does respond to her DMs if you have questions about financial literacy, about having the what's the proper name for the surgery?
The bariatric surgery.
Bariatric surgery.
Because it's different types, whichever it may be different one for you. Yep.
If you have questions about her own personal journey with that, or questions about the pageantry, please DM her. She does respond to her DMs. She's super approachable and friendly.
Yes, and if you want to come on Chastity Unlocked,
that's right.
Yes, if you have a story, if you have a business, if you want to just be amplified and highlighted in the community, I would love to have you on as a featured guest. We are accepting sponsors and advertisers too, honey, because we do want to grow this platform. But if you want to come and be a member of the audience, it's just a whole vibe, So I would love to.
It really is. It's a great podcast, and I'm so proud of her. So you all, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Trauma to Triumph. We will be back again next Tuesday at 9:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you would like to make a donation, you can do so directly on my website. There is a nonprofit component to Trauma to Triumph, so if you want to make a big donation, it is tax deductible. I am approved by IRS as a nonprofit. What is it? 501(c)(b)(4) ABC, whatever it is. We have that.
501(c)(3).
Yes, it's that. And again, just regular from the heart contributions, Cash App, $Trauma2Triumph. PayPal is the same, Trauma2Triumph. So yeah, there are different ways that you can submit your Trauma to Triumph story. You can DM me, you can email me. info@Trauma2Triumph.com is the email, and you can submit your story right on the website as well. So you can go to Trauma2Triumph.com and submit your story there. And I am taking I'm scheduling people now. I think I have some openings. I don't have any more. I have maybe one more opening this month, but I have plenty of openings in April. So let's get your story scheduled. We got to heal other people. We have to turn our wounds into wisdom. And this is the way we do it on this platform. So thanks again for tuning in. I am your host, Terry Long. And I will see y'all next Tuesday at 9:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank y'all so much. This will be on my Instagram, on Chastity's Instagram, And I'm going to edit the front part so you don't have to look at all the part when we were setting up and all that. I'll edit the front part and I will put that on YouTube. So I will send you the link, Chastity, for the YouTube as well. But again, you know, this will stay on the Instagram so you don't have to wait until we put it on YouTube if you want to just rewind and check it out. This was really great. Thank you so much. I love you. Love y'all. My Instagram and Facebook cousins. Love y'all. And I'll see y'all next Tuesday at 9 o'clock. Okay? Get those stories into me. If you know somebody, it doesn't necessarily mean you have a lot of people, real quick, y'all. I realize a lot of people have never been through real life trauma. Mm-hmm. A lot of people.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of people. Like if you ask my mother, Mom, have you ever gone through anything traumatic? I mean, other than maybe her saying, you know, like my mom died and my dad died, but her parents died when they were old. So, you know, they, you know, my mom was, you know, it wasn't
very fortunate.
Right, you know, so she's never gone through anything traumatic. I know a lot of people who will say, I don't have a trauma to triumph story. And you're blessed to never have gone through anything traumatic. But I've realized by doing this podcast that there are tons of people who have never gone through trauma.
Wow.
Never have. Like I say, you know, my sister will probably say, I mean, I've known my sister all her life, but she will probably say, I mean, she's gone through a divorce, and a divorce in and of itself can be traumatic, right? But there's just so many people who have never gone through trauma, and I'm so happy to know that. But for those of you who have, or you know someone who has, send them over here to the Trauma to Triumph podcast.